Echoes of the Nigerian Civil War. Need for a more cohesive nation. The Nigerian Civil War between 1967 and 1970 was a complex and bloody conflagration that built up to the war, adjudged as avoidable by critics, historians, and political scientists, was the ideological disagreement between Lieutenant Colonel Odumegu Ojukwu and Lieutenant General Yakubu Gowon. Why Ojukwu, military governor of Eastern Region, wanted regional autonomy and greater resource control, Gowon, the federal military leader, strongly favored centralized government. The coup and counter coup of 1966, which roused tribal prejudice, already strained nerves and relations. The last straw that broke the camel's back was the failure of General Gowon to keep to the resolve of the Aburi Accord of 1967. Subsequently, as the two leaders maintained loggerhead, Ojukwu declared the independence of Biafra on May 30th, 1967. Gowon's federal government saw this as an act of rebellion against Nigeria and ordered military action. Thus, on 9th of August 1967, the Nigerian Civil War began on full scale. Major highlight of the war was the Midwest invasion in 1967 in an offensive that was tagged Operation Tosh. This was a battle between Nigerian and Biafran military forces. On that fateful day, 3,000 Biafran soldiers, led by General Victor Banjo, crossed the River Niger into Asaba. Why it was significant that General Victor Banjo, a Yoruba by tribe, lent his military craft to the Biafran forces. It indicated the place of individual conviction on the execution of the Nigerian Civil War. Upon reaching Agbo, the Biafrans split up. The 12th Battalion moved west and captured Benin City and Ore, while the 18th Battalion moved south and captured Wari, Sapele, and Ughelli. The Biafran 13th Battalion gravitated towards the northern eye, capturing Agenebudi, Auchi, and Okene in the present-day Kogi state. As Benin fell to Biafra, the Biafran forces made efforts to capture, dead or alive, the Urobo-born governor of Midwestern State, General David Ejo Bert. Earlier reconnaissance through his quartermaster general, Lieutenant Colonel Ogbemudia, thwarted this effort, making Ejo to promptly escape to Lagos. As his capture by the ravaging Biafran soldiers would have humiliated Nigerian government. Meeting no resistance, the Biafrans captured the Midwestern region in less than 12 hours of commencing the war. No doubt, this was possible due to the proximity of the region to the east. The daring 12th Battalion of Biafra advanced towards Lagos and Ibadan. However, as fate would have it, there was a delay in the advancement as key army combatants from the Biafran fronts, General Dumegu Ojukwu and Victor Banjo, disagreed on their choice of who was to be imposed as the Biafran team lead to be in charge of the occupied Midwest territory. The delay allowed head of Nigerian military government, General Gowon, the opportunity to assemble a formidable defense line in the west. Equally, in the occupied Midwestern areas of Ijo, Ishekiri, Urobo, and Isoko, hostility against maltreatment of the locals by the Biafrans started brewing. Along the line, Ojukwu proclaimed the Midwest Republic of Benin and announced Albert Okonkwo as governor in September 1967. Instructively, the republic barely lasted 24 hours as the Nigerian army revved into Benin via the West flagship. and sacked the Biafran occupation of the Midwest with a coordinated military force. Following this development, the Biafran grip weakened and its hold suffered setback as the second division of Nigerian army led by Colonel Murtala Ramat Muhammad at Ore engaged the Biafrans, forcing them to beat a hasty retreat. The 3rd Marine Commando, headed by Major Benjamin Adekunle, moved his artillery towards the south from Auchi, arriving Warri, and took over Ughelli and Sapele. The concerted effort of the Nigerian troops liberated Benin in a three-pronged attack, meeting little or no resistance. A major disadvantage for the Biafrans was that they were outflanked, outmaneuvered, and overpowered by the more equipped Nigerian side. So they retreated and fled across the River Niger bridge into the Igbo Atlant, destroying the bridge as they fled. Some ill-fated Biafran soldiers were caught off in the escape mission. They were left with no other option than to abandon their weaponry and uniforms and mixed up with the civilian population until they were able to reach the east. The retreat by the Biafran troop at Ore is noted historically as a turning point of the Civil War. Till the present moment, the confrontation at Ore is recalled as a most fierce battle, Oleku Ijaore. It was noted that General Banjo had a moment of indecision on the plot of the Biafrans to charge towards Lagos through Ore, and this was counted against him as an act of betrayal. He was summoned to Enugu where he was arrested, tried, and branded a military turncoat and was made to face firing squad. This development showed leadership crisis on the Biafran side. The Gawan government already declared total war against Biafra, and this was executed on a full-fledged military scale. The Biafrans limited their forces to maintaining strictly defensive operations rather than any further daring offensive operations against the enemy forces. Major sore point of the Civil War was the ignominious Asaba massacre of 1967 when citizens of the town who attended a public dance were brutally killed under the 2nd Division leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Murtala Mohammed. Victims were alleged Igbos snuffed out in a program that appeared retaliatory of the 1966 ethnic cleansing coup. A similar sort aspect of the Civil War was during the show of strength by the Nigerian army troop in Okitipupa in the old Okitipupa division in 1967 after the dismantling of the old of the Biafran side at Ore. The Biafrans had aimed to pass through Ore, Okitipupa and adjoining route to Lagos. The Nigerian army altered their territorial expansionist ambition. Troops of Nigerian army moved through towns, dragging out Biafran soldiers who were in hiding, having failed to escape back to the east. A priest of United Native African Church (UNA), also known as First African Church Mission, located in Ukiteopa, Pastor Nwoye, and his family were identified as non-natives and fell victim of the military show of strength as they paid the ultimate price in the hands of unknown soldiers from the Nigerian side. As the Civil War broke out, non-natives in the West left for their homelands, but other few who remained, Pastor Nwoye and his family, were one. Their death, like the killing in Asaba, showed inhuman treatment and the undue nature of a war that would have been resolved on the round table of tact, diplomacy, and common sense. A sage who lived through the war expressed his view.
ìgbà civil war ni ó serious ẹ̀ tó dé gbọ́n gbòyí ẹ̀wà òlèlè agbọ́ àtòlèlè àyọ̀ká ní òlèlè yóò ṣe ọmọ ìbò tó mọ ọ̀nà kan nínú wọn. àwọn akàfọ̀ fi dáká pé báyìí fẹ́ fi ṣáájú wa a lè pè sọ́rọ́ sọ́rọ́ bó ti fọ sọ́rọ́ a mọ̀ pé ìbò yẹn lówó ṣe Yorùbá ṣùgbọ́n ìyẹn mú mà pé Yorùbá rí ọ̀tọ̀ sọ́rọ̀ yẹn pé ọ̀gùn yìí ṣùgbọ́n wá àwọn akókó mú kẹ́jú kan èrò yìí.
Also, a lad during the Civil War, who is now a senior citizen, bear this mind.
I remember an event that happened in between 1967 and 1970 during the Nigerian Civil War. There was a story. I'm very sure of this story. It had really happened. It did happen. The first thing is it's not about tribal issue. It is not a case of an Igbo man against the Ikale people. The Ikale people, I'm an Ikale man. We are very accommodating. We love our friends, our guests, our visitors. We love to accommodate people. There are a lot of Igbo people who stayed and prospered, in Oklugopa. One of my father's best friend was an Igbo man. Though both of them are gone now, my dad and the other Igbo man. He was very successful, and at Oklugopa, he raised all his children there. Some of them are my friends who went to school together. They're just lovely people. But this situation involving the UNA priest, what happened was that the priest, I believe he was betrayed by a native of that town, a native of that area. And to the best of my knowledge, he was a teacher or probably somebody in the UNA hierarchy too. So the Kale people were almost successful in, providing safe haven to the priest. The priest has been in hiding for a long time, and the Kale people, some of his friends like my dad and some other people were aware of that, and they were able to keep his secret until he was betrayed. It has nothing, has no tribal it has no tribal connotation. It's not because the priest was an Igbo and it was ratted out because it has nothing to do with tribe. It's just an individual.
The weakening of strength on the part of the Biafran forces and the consolidation of a Nigerian army victory became more pronounced, regardless of the propaganda from both warring sides. In 1969, federal forces took Owerri, weakening Biafran move. On the 13th January 1970, Biafra surrendered and Ojukwu fled. The human toll of the war was put at between 1 to 3 million deaths arising from war front mortality and starvation. Millions were displaced while many turned refugees. The economy, infrastructure, and social services were badly damaged. General Gowon, in his eventual peace declaration, established the 3 R's of Reconstruction, Reconciliation, and Rehabilitation Initiative. His name, Gowon, became an acronym. Go on with one Nigeria, Gowon. Each time lingering ethnic and regional tensions rear ugly head, we are reminded of the strength in the unity of our diversity as a nation and the fact that Nigeria can't go the way of the Civil War again, as no nation survives through civil wars. Today, we remember the fallen heroes and all the soldiers who fought for the indivisibility of Nigeria. May the blood they shed for Nigeria to remain one not be in vain.